Hey everybody! I'm gonna invite Barbara in. A request. Invite. How is everybody today? Hey Mauricio! Thanks for coming!
Ciao, Pat.
Hello! Can you see me?
I can see you. What about you?
I
Can you
can't
see
see
me?
you! Can you turn your camera around? Maybe that's what it is.
Ha, 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 ha. Let me check. Aiuto. Okay.
Oh, now I see your desk. Actually, I think
Yeah.
maybe you had it the other way. There you
Yay.
are! I can see you now.
Ciao.
How are you?
I'm fine, and you? Oh, I'm on red. Wow. Oops.
I'm trying to sort out my phone too, so it's all good.
So what if I do this? You see me?
Then you'd be
Oh,
sideways.
okay. Let's try without the earplug. What about this? Is it better? Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Perfetto. Okay.
All right. So for everybody that's watching, my name is Patricia. I'm the founder of Crafter, and I love doing these interviews because I get the opportunity to meet lovely people like Barbara who can share more about what they do and all the fun things. So I wanted to meet with her today and get to know her better and have her share with you what she does. So do you mind introducing yourself a little bit and telling people more about yourself?
Of course. So I'm Barbara Sbrocca. I'm Italian. I live in Italy, in Rome. And I'm here as the author of the international art project called Baci, Sospesi, which in Italian literally means suspended kisses or hanging kisses. But it has also another meaning, which is, let's say, kisses or messages of hope left
Yes.
in advance for other people to take and for to listen. Okay, in this case. So Baci Sospesi is a project that I started 2 years ago during the first lockdown here in Italy. Was really frightening because we were in Europe, we were the first. I mean, after China, we were the first country experiencing that kind of crazy madness moment.
Yes.
And my reaction was to think about um, how we all people in the world, how we humans are all connected by this need of connection,
Yes.
actually. So the idea was to start talking with people and interviewing people, asking them to tell me their love stories and their most significant, crucial moments in their
Right.
relationship life.
Mm-hmm.
And what I found by interviewing people from all over the world is that, yes, we are all connected by this need of connection. And
Yeah.
despite our huge differences,
Mm-hmm.
well, we're all the same in this
Yeah.
way.
Right. And I
So,
love that because it's so important, especially when things are so hard and difficult, that people almost ground themselves. Like, I'm not alone in this. There are people that relate to me. I still have people that are the same. It's so that's what I love it. It's beautiful. It's a great idea.
yeah, it's very simple. I mean, it's a
Hmm.
basic idea, but to listen to other people from different, countries, cultures, even
Hmm.
languages. I have recorded
Right.
interviews in different languages,
Hmm.
but to listen to the emotions. Emotions are international. I
Yes.
mean, when you feel a person who's in tears
Hmm.
or who's really relieved or
Hmm.
who's hoping or who's smiling, and
Yeah.
these interviews are voice only, audio only.
Hmm.
You don't see the person who's talking, you
Hmm.
don't know their identity because there are
Hmm.
no names
Yes.
they're all recorded in full anonymity, which is powerful
Hmm.
because you go directly into their lives, into their stories, the most
Hmm.
intimate moment, and you don't know anything about their social position or the color of the skin or
Yeah.
anything about politics, religion, nothing. You just go to what matters the most,
Yes. If
which
there's
is
no preconceived ideas or judgmental, like, oh, I think I already have this person figured out, which we don't try
yeah,
to do, but it happens. So you might look at someone and say, "Oh, I'm not going to relate to them. They don't look like me, or they don't act like me, or they're not dressed like I'm dressed, or whatever the reason."
yeah, at least
Yeah,
consciously. Yeah, I
yeah,
mean, unconsciously you do it. You know, I mean, you can have all sorts of reaction, but at least I wanted to cut out all the the basic biggest
hmm
stuff out
yeah,
of the equation. So I chose to go audio only, also because I love radio
yes,
and I'm used to listening only, and
yeah.
I love it. So
That's
yeah.
awesome. I love that so much. And so, is there anything that you really is there a specific podcast or a specific situation that you during these interviews you've really been surprised, or has anything happened that has anything surprised you one way or the other?
Well, yeah. I mean, even if I started this project from the certainty that in a way I would find similarities in all the
hmm
people interviewed. It's very surprising, and it's amazing how
hmm
sometimes um, I can like have the same some 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 stories just resonate so much with me, with my
Yeah.
experience. It's impressive.
hmm
So and this can come from uh, different people from really different situations, and not just women. I've talked with men also,
hmm
of course, and it's really amazing how some feelings or also practical experience and moments are
Yeah.
similar.
Yeah.
And it's beautiful how you can create an intimacy just
hmm
talking with a stranger
Yes, I
on
love
this
that
type of
too
work.
because you have people that really open up and it's like a vulnerability. So it's nice to see that people are more and more becoming okay with sharing their story and sharing parts of them that before people wouldn't talk about a lot of this stuff. They keep it to themselves. They bury it, so that oh no, I can't share. And now it's something where people will say, okay, I can share this to make other people not feel alone, and it,
Yeah,
they feel safe with talking to you, which is wonderful.
yeah, it is wonderful, and it's teaching me a lot. Also,
hmm
I mean, mostly about myself,
mm
and it's incredible also how much you can um, feel and listen
hmm
um, above words,
Yes.
especially because after having the conversation, I edit the recording.
hmm
I cut out my voice and I
hmm
keep the voice of the person I talk to,
hmm
and I edit it because many times I mean, it takes a long time. Maybe it's an hour and a half, 2 hours
hmm
or more. So yeah,
Yeah.
and I cut pieces, and when I can spend days in company of that other person's voice,
Yes.
re-listening to the recording,
hmm
and it's beautiful how you can get emotions and layered meanings and from silences, from subtle laughs or pauses. Uh, in editing, sometimes I cut the spaces, the pauses, and
Yeah.
sometimes I don't cut them because they are
hmm
so meaningful
Yeah.
in a pause.
hmm
Sometimes I even cut the sentence, like I leave the pause and then that's it because it's enough.
Yeah.
You don't have to finish the sentence. it arrives the whole meaning.
Yes.
Everything there. So it's the verbal part, the external, what is said and what's not being said, but it's there.
Yes.
And it gets you. I mean, it arrives fully.
I love that.
And
I love that.
yeah, and you can listen to a story once, twice, 3 times, and every time you get a different perspective and a different nuance. So
Yeah, because it depends, I think, from the viewer, if they're, or the listener, I guess I should say, if they're listening to the story, they might be in one place in their life when they listen to it, and their mindset might be one way, and then they listen to it later and they go, oh, well, that changes, like, it not changes how it overall is, but it changes how they might receive it depending on where they're at, what kind of mood they're in, how they're doing, that sort of thing. So that totally makes sense. I have noticed when I edit my interviews, sometimes I'll watch, and there are like body language things that things that people do, and it's very interesting. But it's for me been so much fun and such a joy to meet all these people, and it's surprising for me. The reason I asked that question is because I was so surprised at how much I was learning and how much I related with other people, and it's just been this. It's just wonderful. I don't know how else to say.
It's amazing. It is amazing. The
Yeah.
other day, I was having a conversation with a woman, and we were amazed both because I told her part of my story as well, and even some tiny details like, I don't know, the age where we had our first time in sex, for example,
Right.
or some experiences and what was behind that were exactly the same, and some feelings and some reactions and even some words, even if I speak, I mean, with her I was speaking English, but in my life I speak Italian, but
Right.
Even the choice of words for describing some moments was similar, if not the same.
Yeah.
Which was what? And also when people are completely different from me, it's amazing as well. I mean, maybe mostly when people are different, it's maybe more amazing.
Yeah.
I've listened to stories that are really mind-blowing and breathtaking and something that probably I will never experience, but with the words of these people, I can live a little bit of that.
There was one interview you did, and I obviously I can't remember which post it was. I'll have to look it up and add it to this, where the gentleman talking was just so passionate in the entire interview, and I was just like, it's just not, it's nice. I have a wonderful project, and I just wanted to be able to share that with people. I do want to ask you also, you are an artist yourself. You have some sculptures, it looks like, behind you as well. And so can you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, okay. So let's go back to the name of the project, which is Baci Sospesi. So Baci in Italian is kisses. And Sospesi is suspended or hanging.
Yes.
I had this image, this one, before starting the project. That image came out reading a phrase of Carlo Rovelli, who is a physicist, a quantum physics expert.
Yes.
And he was talking about, in that book, he was talking about time and the nature of the universe. And he was saying something like, I don't recall literally the sentence, but the idea is what we are into, it's not made of things, but more events. So, for example, if we say if we ask ourselves where this cup is going to be tomorrow, may have a sense. But if we ask ourselves where a kiss will be tomorrow. It makes no sense, but
Yeah.
that's exactly, instead, that's how the universe is. I mean,
Right.
the universe is a net of kisses, not cups. So it's made
Yeah.
of events.
Yeah.
And this idea of reality being a net of kisses, meaning a relationship of, everything is relative and everything is a relation.
Yeah.
And so relationship, I love this idea. And that's how this painting or
Mhm.
wall sculpture came up. And so when I started this project, Baci Sospesi, I had already this idea of the kisses being the symbol of relationships.
Mhm.
And I created this, I wanted to have also a tangible part for
Mhm.
this project, not
Yes.
not only the conversations, but also
Mhm.
something, a symbol, and something that could be um, publicly in public displayed
Mhm.
as a sculpture or whatever. And I wanted to create a sculpture, an installation where people
Mhm.
could go to and leave messages for other people.
Yeah.
So I created a sort of this kind of shape where
Mhm.
this is actually a small version, of course. I created a 3 meters tall version with lighter shapes,
Yeah.
thinner, and uh, and and then I created another one in another place, in another city in Italy. So now I have so far 2 installations
Oh, I love that.
created with different materials, site-specific installations where people can go and leave messages. And
Mhm.
actually they go and leave poems or
Mhm.
drawings or messages of love, hopes.
Right.
And this idea is something that I'm really in love with, that
Yeah.
people adopted the sculptures and the installation and they use them as a repository for messages.
And
I
I love that they've embraced that. So you said they can put messages in, but they can also take messages, right? Wasn't
Of
that
course,
something?
yes.
Right.
Yes, it's like, it's the idea of the name Baci Sospesi comes from a tradition that we have in Italy, especially in Naples, in the south of Italy. In Naples, there's this tradition called caffè sospeso, suspended coffee.
Mhm.
So if you go to a bar, you can um, pay in advance a
Mhm.
coffee or whatever
Yeah.
for somebody else, for
Yes.
a stranger.
Mhm.
So if you want a coffee, you cannot afford a coffee, you just go into a bar and you find a bowl full of
Mhm.
prepaid, bills, tickets. So you
Yeah.
can take a ticket and go to the counter and ask for your coffee. So it's a
Yes.
act of kindness for people,
Which I love
strangers.
that. It's like paying it forward, like helping other people and just have a cup of coffee and live, have a happy day and it's very
Exactly.
nice.
So it is. And this is caffè sospeso, so suspended hanging coffee. The idea of
Yes.
baci sospesi is exactly this. Cioè,
Hmm.
you live a message of hope. You live your story, which is your experience, which is your
Yes.
feeling, for others to enjoy.
Yeah.
Mm, because probably you now can be in the moment of sharing, you
Hmm.
can have that strength or that mind asset you want to share, and another person is
Yes.
in a moment where they can use a little bit of hope and help,
Yes.
so they can listen to
Yes.
your message, to your story, or they can take their message and read your message and have a brighter day maybe, or
Yes.
have a
I
different
love that.
perspective.
It's like borrowing other people's strength. Lending other people your energy, your strength and your yeah, I love that.
Yeah, but this is what relationships are about. I mean, we humans need relationships for growing, for become better people,
Hmm.
for relationships should be challenging in a good way.
Yes.
So you should be in contact with people who kind of take the best part out of you every day, every time. And sometimes this relationship can be very difficult because they are challenging,
Yes.
but this is the salt of life.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes you just need a hand.
Yes.
So not a push, but just a hand that pulls you a little
Yes.
bit.
Yeah,
So it's a
that's
balance.
yeah, I agree with what you just said because a lot of times when people are in a bad place, I'm not sure how to word this. So the people will try to fix it and they'll try to push them, oh, we'll just make it better, let's go. And instead of just being with them in the moment, helping them with where they're at and being supportive. And so you kind of have to balance, okay, when is it okay to push and when is it okay to just be with them and
Exactly.
listen?
It's a delicate balance,
Yeah.
and you have to find the right position, the right distance, or the right proximity point
Mm-hmm.
to the person. With Baci Sospesi, you kind of choose your own position,
Mm-hmm.
whether you want to donate your story and your message or you want to take it.
Yes.
So for me, I'm learning a lot. I am learning a lot about myself mainly,
Yes. Yeah.
and, and about relationships. But
Mm-hmm.
it's really all about meeting people. Some people
Yes.
can be really, their stories can be really frustrating in a good
Mm.
way. Like,
Yeah.
I'm translating it literally from Italian. They can be a push for me, like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this person has something there that
Yeah.
I've had a few conversations with people who are really, really, um, who have a really, if I say strong, it's not the right word. Strong, I was saying strong identity, but strong is not the proper word. They are so whole. They are so,
They're so
um,
whole, you said?
yeah, whole,
So
meaning like,
they can have a strong sense of self, maybe? Like, not confident. I don't know if confident's the right word.
it's not just confidence. It's courage. It's
Oh,
great
courageous.
also. Yeah. And being courageous means, for me, in this sense, means to have the courage of putting yourself in outside your comfort zone
Mm-hmm.
and wanting to be a better person
Yes.
profoundly in
Yeah.
a non-conscious, way also.
Yeah.
So some people are
Yeah.
really, really challenging.
We have someone that says identity full of light. I love that.
Yeah.
Sorry, my husband's scooping up my kids. They want to be with me.
Of course. Of course.
Oh, always, always. But yeah, relationships are a lot of work, whether it's a relationship with yourself or the relationship with others or however you want to look at it. But there are a lot of people that have been through a whole lot their whole life, and they
Yeah.
still find ways to persevere and do well for themselves and have a identity full of light. Just be full of light and positivity, and you just look at those people, and it's very encouraging. It's like I admire people like that can do that. You
Yeah.
know?
It's not just a light, like, I would love to distinguish the light that I like from some lightness
Mm-hmm.
that is uh, equal to being shallow or just being afraid to go deep.
Oh, okay.
I want to go deep.
Mm.
Um, Sometimes, I mean, being light doesn't mean to be shallow.
Yes, yeah, yeah.
So I like people who are not afraid of depth,
Mm.
you know.
You don't want there to be a
And
wall. They don't want to be
no, but
guarded, you know?
yeah, for me as well. I mean, I'm
Yeah.
I'm struggling with my own walls. I'm
Mm-hmm.
one of the things that it comes out practically like 90% of the time in 90% of the conversation that I'm having for Baci
Mm-hmm.
Sospesi is the topic of therapy.
Mm.
You know, going
Yeah.
to therapy,
Yeah.
ask for help,
Yes.
and uh, don't be ashamed of asking for something more, for
Yes.
an another person, a professional one,
Mm-hmm.
to help you in being cured.
Mm-hmm.
Because this is the thing that when you are with yourself alone or with friends who are very welcoming and very, like pat on your back, and they're saying, okay, I'm listening, but they are not doing that, the harsh part, the
Yeah.
most difficult part of
Yeah.
saying things that you don't really want to hear. And this is not a place where a friend can be.
Mm.
There No friend can really be in that position, because
Yeah.
you need a professional to know what to say, when, how.
Yes.
Otherwise otherwise, people can be violent
Mm.
also.
Yeah.
So if you are in a therapy, so in a very protected environment,
Mm-hmm.
with a very specific relationship, with a um, professional,
Mm-hmm.
um, you can take you 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 really can take the cure, and it's not violent. It's like when
Mm-hmm.
if you have, for the body, if you're ill and you need surgery, the
Yes.
surgeon can cut you open, but it's
Mm-hmm.
for your good. So the
Yeah.
therapist can tell you something, but it's for
Mm-hmm.
your good. And this is not something that any friend can say. I mean, it's completely different.
Right. And it's a process too. I think a lot of times you have to not only find a therapist that you relate to, it's again another relationship. You need to find someone who you can connect with and that can help you. And it can be so easily discouraging when you're in a bad place and you try to find somebody and you just don't connect. You know what I mean? And so then, therapy's not for me. I'm done. I'll struggle through it my own. No, 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 no. That's, it's a process, just like anything else.
It's a
Um,
process. You have to trust the process,
yeah.
and you have to, of course, you have to be also with a good therapist. I mean,
Yes.
with the theory behind the therapy, the theory about
Hmm.
human beings, how we function, how we are.
Hmm.
It's absolutely relevant. It's the thing that makes the difference, because
Hmm.
if you go to a therapist that has as a underlined, thought that, well, humans are, after all, we're all ill.
Hmm.
After all, we're all bad. After all, it's human nature to be ill and to be bad. If you have this thought
Hmm.
underneath, for me, it doesn't work. I mean, how can you cure a person if you think that there's no health? There's
Yeah. It's
no.
almost like no hope. You feel like there's no
Exactly.
hope to it.
Exactly.
So,
Exactly.
yeah.
So, okay, so this is another huge topic, but this comes out very, very, very often
Hmm.
in Baci Sospesi conversations.
Interesting.
Yeah,
Interesting.
it's
Yeah.
about relationships.
Yeah,
So,
it makes sense. It makes sense because if people are going to get to a point where they're talking to you about this project, whether they, write notes for your installations or whether they're talking to you on your podcast or whatnot, if they're going to get to the level of where it's helpful for them and they want to share and be open, that's not surprising to me that they would get to a place where they talk about mental health or processes that what helps them when they are feeling bad. Um, So I want to ask you another question. You do paintings, you do sculptures. Is there any other big art projects that you like to work on that I've missed? I think you had furniture on there listed. There's a bunch of you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah, I had fun in so many ways. I've designed and created furniture, jewelry, with
That's right.
yeah. I've had my own radio program. I've
Oh,
written poems. Yeah.
yeah.
But now at this very moment, I'm creating new paintings and sculptures, and but Baci Sospesi is the main project at the moment. Also because I want to bring Baci Sospesi in the world also physically. I'm
Mm.
interested in creating new installations
Okay.
outside of Italy.
Oh, that's
So
awesome.
yeah, yeah, that's the idea. So I'm talking with people and I'm looking for opportunities to create site-specific installations, temporary or forever. Like
Yeah.
the ones that the two installations that I created here in Italy, they are permanent. Well,
Oh,
I mean, they are made with wood,
yeah.
so their lifespan would be,
That's the big one that's in the one building, right? It's like a you have the
there's
it's tall, right?
one,
It's do you
yeah,
have a
one is,
yeah,
there are two. One is now, it's by the beach in Passo Scuro in the city north
right.
of Rome,
Hmm.
and it's in open, so it's really close to the sea, and
Okay.
it needs a lot of rest, of work, because every year with wind and salt and the sea, it gets the sea corrupts
Yeah, the
easily.
salt. Yeah.
Yeah. And the other one was created for, it was meant to be temporary, and it was created for a place called Fioraco here in Italy. And it was
Hmm.
a multiple pieces installation over a river and
Oh.
then across the piazza with all the trees.
Oh,
Uh,
but that's beautiful.
yeah. And
Yeah.
then the mayor of the place
Hmm.
asked me. He said, "I don't want to lose that installation. I want you to invest to create something, because I want to put that installation into our local museum."
Oh,
So
I
I
love
had
that.
to, yeah, and well, I was appointed honorary citizen.
Oh,
with
that's so
that.
good. I love that.
I mean, it was a huge surprise for me. Anyway,
Yeah.
the mayor asked me to bring the installation into the museum. So I had to create a structure, because that was meant to be hanging on trees and on the river,
Mhm.
all over the
Yeah.
place. So I created two pieces wood sculpture
Hmm.
representing a huge tree,
Okay.
actually a two-part man-woman tree.
Yes. Yeah.
And so I used the Baci Sospesi that I created on this white tree, and it's now displayed in their local museum where you can go. It's for free.
Oh,
This is also something that I care about. That
yes.
every installation is um, reachable. You can
Yeah,
go there
accessible.
for free.
Yeah.
Yeah, accessible for free. You're
Oh,
not
I love
supposed to
that.
pay.
Very cool.
Um,
Very cool.
So the idea is to replicate this, creating new sculptures. Every sculpture has this kind of idea with all these
Hmm.
multiple shapes, red shapes, but
Hmm.
it's made with different materials and in different forms depending on the place and the people working there. I also work with local artisans that help me in creating the sculpture. So yeah, the idea is to go elsewhere and have more patches of spaces for everyone.
Yeah. That was one of my questions. I'm like, what's in the future for you? What should we look out for? So yeah, more
Yes,
installations then throughout Italy and then wherever else outside of that even.
yes, And of course, also more conversations. I would love also to have, like, I would love to go on an art residency where I can stay in a place enough time, not only to create the installation, but to talk with locals, local people, and collect stories, and also um, make the installation have, a specific meaning for um,
Yes.
that people
That'd
there.
be really cool.
So yeah. And also one idea is also, now I'm working with adults, of course. I'm talking about romantic relationships
Yeah.
and but I would also love very much to create a Baci Sospesi Junior edition, talking with kids
Oh, with
and their
kids.
idea of love and relationship.
Oh, that would
Their
be so
idea,
cute.
yeah.
Kids have a are very honest.
Yeah,
So that would be very
yeah.
interesting.
Indeed, absolutely. I would love
Yeah.
that. I'm looking forward to be able to do this Bashi Sospesi,
My son, and
cadence.
I've never said this to my son, and no one else has, so this came from him. And I'm very surprised. When he was maybe 3 years old, he says to me, he still says it because he knows it melts my heart. He goes, Mom, you're the first thing I saw, and you're the first thing I loved.
Oh, wow. Oh,
And when he
yes.
said that to me, I went, what? Like, what did you just say? Like, 'cause that's pretty deep
Three
for a
years old.
kid.
Three.
He
Wow.
was like 3, yeah, maybe 4. Like, he was young. He was very little. And, I tell him I love you every 5 minutes because that's the type of person that I am. Both my kids, like, I probably say it 100 times a day. I love you. You're the best. I love you. Like, I overdo it. But yeah, I've never said that. Like, that's, so I would be very curious if you decide to do that.
Yeah, I would love
What
to.
some kids would
That's the
say.
idea. That's the idea of a art residency, to create, to work with kids. Also, but there's so many things we could do about, and this is especially now. Uh, when I started the project, it was not just the lockdown that um, like triggered
Mm,
this idea of Bashi Sospesi, but
right.
yeah, I told you about this in a previous conversation we
Yeah.
had. I thought about, okay, we were experiencing that kind of forced restraint, like we were living in a isolated condition
Yeah.
because of the COVID. But
Yeah.
I thought, what about all the people who are living this situation, not because of a pandemic, but because of they are running away from their country, running
Yes.
for their lives.
Yeah. They have to
And
uproot everything and go. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah.
and in this last, well, so many years, here in Italy, in the Mediterranean Sea, we've had so many um, people trying to escape and trying to reach us, our coasts, our country, and we've had thousands of dead people in the Mediterranean Sea. Also because um, us as Italy, but not just us, all Europe, we were pushing them back
Yeah.
to North African coast. So this was something that, and this is something that is really making me crazy. And now with this uh, Ukrainian situation, we are rightfully so. I mean, opening our borders
Yeah.
finally for
Yeah.
people running away. But what about
Thankfully.
all? Yeah, but we should do the same with everyone running away.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now we are judging. Okay, you, yes, you can come. You, no, you cannot. Why? On which ground?
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I mean, I have an answer for this question, and I don't want to open the answer here, but you know, I don't like the answer.
Yeah.
And so my idea was, um, we are all human.
Yeah.
We all share the same birth. We are born in the same way,
Hmm.
and we are all equal. Even if
Hmm.
we are all different, we are all equal. So we should have equal rights,
Yeah.
because we are all humans. And what is that connects us? What is that makes us similar?
Hmm.
So I thought about this feeling of, wanted to be seen
Yeah.
and, trusted,
Hmm.
or wanted we want to be able to trust another person. We have this natural tendency to, if we are not ill, to trust.
Yeah.
So yeah, this is Baci Sospesi, and the idea of, spending time with kids, talking about this, how we are all connected, and asking them questions, and listening to their answers. I would love to do so.
It would be
I
so
would love to
pure.
do that.
It would be so pure and so honest.
Yeah,
I would
yeah,
be very, very curious to see
yeah.
what kids would say. Um, but yeah, they just don't. They haven't gotten to a point where they filter or they. So you get what you get.
Exactly. I would
That'd be pretty
love that.
awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
sure one day I'll be able to do that. I'm
yeah,
sure. So yeah,
amazing.
and also because they love, yeah, they love sharing, and so Baci Sospesi is like their natural state of mind.
Yeah,
Also the
that is
idea of
very
sharing.
true.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
that's
yeah,
funny.
one day I will create a huge Bashi Sospesi for kids to
Oh, that would
somewhere
be.
to
I
leave
love that.
messages.
Yeah, and have kids put notes in. I'm sure. I mean, at every stage of your life, you want to be able to have that kind of support. You know, like I feel like
Yeah.
that's good for everybody. There's really not an age limit.
Esatto, yeah,
Yeah.
it's true. And there's also with this, with the installations and the messages, there's also this kind of playful mood and joy of going and leaving a message for somebody else, or taking, and there's that moment when you open the messages. It's a moment of surprise. It's like,
Yeah.
it's I've seen people last year when we were in Pioraco, in this village where now I'm honorary citizen of, and I'm proud of it. I spent yes, I spent hours. Um, I mean, people. I spent hours in a piazza where the installation was, watching people reacting to the installation.
Yeah.
And I was sitting a little bit far away,
Hmm.
so people didn't know that it was me, the author, and they were reading the description of the project and the title, and they were looking at, and they were, reading the messages, because, the mayor, me, and other people, we left the first messages,
Yeah.
also, to show this is what it's
To get it going.
for. Yeah, to get it going. So people came, they were, coming closer and reading the messages and looking for a pen, and I
Yeah.
left some paper, blank paper, white paper, for them to write. And there were all sorts of reactions. There were people very serious, just,
Hmm.
okay, but many of them, they were in a playful mode, light
Yes.
moment, and they just let them go, and write and read all the messages. It's something that we should, find back, that
Hmm.
capacity of sharing, playing,
Hmm.
smiling to strangers.
Yeah, I agree. It almost reminds me of, obviously you want your installations to be more playful and everything, but it almost reminds me, I know in Japan they have places where you can write prayers on cards and put them up.
Yes.
And it almost reminds me of that, where people, obviously you don't go take them. You don't take them there, but it reminds me of a place where people can write something that's very personal to them and
Yeah. Well,
share. But
you see, this is thank you. I love this because I love the idea that the difference between that and my project is exactly this. You can live and you can take. It's not between you and uh, an entity that's
right.
above. It's
Hmm.
between you and other human beings.
Hmm.
So it's
It's like the human
relate.
element.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
That's what I'm looking for. Thank you.
You're,
Thank you.
you're welcome. But yeah, that's it is good though, because a lot of times cultures won't necessarily walk up to a stranger and say hello, how are you, and it just depends where you're from.
Yes.
I try to remind people that, because America has so many different cultures here, that sometimes people say, well, I said hello to them and they didn't smile or say hi back, and I said, well, they might not. They just moved to, maybe they don't know, like maybe they're, that's not how they interact with other people, but it's
Yeah, it's not just a matter of culture. It is, of course, but it's also a
right.
matter of, I mean, your personality. You can be, I mean, we Italians, we are uh, famous for being open and loud and whatever, but there are also many, many Italians who are introvert.
Hmm.
So
Yeah.
it's crazy, but it's true.
But it does
And
exist? Is that what you're saying?
yes, it's a thing. It's a thing. Yeah, you
Yeah.
can be Italian and introvert without being a oxymoron, without exploding, yeah.
Yeah.
So it very much also depends on how you are. And leaving a message on a piece of paper can give you that space and time, or taking a message can give you that kind of intimacy moment.
Yeah.
If you are not loud and so open, you can just
Yes.
say, don't worry,
Hmm.
you know,
You can
or
still have that interaction without the pressure of having someone right in front of you.
exactly. Or you can just read other people's messages, or if you find something that strikes you can take a message with you, you can leave it there and just, okay, you read it and you close it again and you leave it there for others to take or whatever. And that's this also this freedom there that it's nice. But it's it's beautiful to see the reaction of people when they see that somebody has done something for the collective, for the people,
Yeah.
for free,
Hmm.
and just they kind of like, who's behind it, what is it for? Some people ask me,
Yeah.
what is it for? It's for,
Yeah.
it's useless. It's useless as we humans are, in the
Yeah.
good way.
Yeah. They
Because
think
we
you have
humans,
like an ulterior motive. Like, oh, what's in it for you? What are you getting? Like, why did you do this? And it's like, I'm doing this for the community. I did it to make you
um,
happy.
exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. We humans are capable of poetry,
Hmm.
music, singing just for the pleasure of singing, or yeah, writing poetry,
Yeah.
painting. You think about all the paintings in caves.
Hmm.
Um, Now we are studying the caves and the paintings, and we want, some people, not we, but some people wanted to find the reason
Yeah.
for the painting, rational um, motive, a rational use for the paintings.
Right.
What if it was not for any use, but just to testify your existence? I'm here. I want to I want to express my identity, my humanity, and
Yeah.
it's useless, but
Yeah.
it's human.
Well, I
This
think
is
that shows too different personality types because some people are very literal and very there must be a purpose, and then there's other people that just want to have fun and express themselves and be in the moment, and there's just
yeah, yeah.
yeah.
So yeah, I'm in love with this project, and I'm in love with the possibility that this project is giving me, or that I am giving myself through the project to
Yes.
meet the world and to
Yes.
meet other people and have amazing conversations with strangers.
Yeah, it's awesome. And I'm so glad we connected because it is such a beautiful project. And it must be really fun to just sit and people watch when people use the sculptures you've created. So that is really lovely.
Thank you very much.
Um, is there anything else that you want to share with everybody before we wrap it up?
Of course, if you want to know more about the project, go to bacisospesi.com. Baci Sospesi is spelled Bacisospesi, Baci Sospesi.
And I'll add the link. I'll
And
add the link to this. Yeah.
okay, and if you want to join, if you want to tell your story, please contact me or via my website or Facebook or Instagram. I will be happy to meet you and record your story and have a chat with you. If you want to adopt a Baci Sospesi installation for your community, of
Absolutely.
course. Of course,
Yes.
absolutely. So yeah, let's keep in touch and uh, let's make the world a better place, like day by day together.
Every day. Every day.
Every day, small things, but can help a lot.
Well, it's been an absolute pleasure. Anytime you want to talk, I'd love to meet again.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Yeah, me
really
too.
great. Please let me know about any other projects that like anything that you're doing, and I'm happy to share with my community. And it's just really great what you're doing.
Thank you very much. Thank you,
All right.
Pat.
All right, you all have a good day.
You too.
All right.
Bye. Ciao.
Bye.